Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Math with Mr. Emond. Today we're going to be continuing our unit on absolute value functions and reciprocal functions. We're still looking at absolute value equations. Remember, we've been dealing with solving them algebraically and using our case-by-case analysis to determine what x will be when it's greater than or equal to 0 or less than 0. Okay? Let's get to the fun stuff. So now we're going to be solving an absolute value equation involving a quadratic expression. So it's going to be the same as before. We're going to want to split this up into our two cases. So we're going to have x squared minus 2x equals 1, and we're going to have negative x squared minus 2x equals 1. Let's go through the one on the left first. We have x squared minus 2x, and then I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides. Minus 1 equals 0. And I'm going to factor this. My go-to is always to factor. Okay, so we have negative 1. Yeah, that's unfortunate. It's not going to work. So this is not going to be factorable with this method. So what are we going to have to do? We are going to have to either complete the square or use the quadratic equation. Now, you know me, using the quadratic equation is my go-to all the time. I'm not the biggest fan of completing the square, but some people love it, so you can do that if you like that. Let's try this out. So we have negative b, so negative 2, plus or minus the square root of b squared, so negative 2 squared, minus 4 times 1 times negative 1. And this is all over 2a, so 2 times 1. All right, negative 2 is going to be positive 2, plus or minus the square root of negative 2 squared, which is 4, minus 4 times negative 1, which is negative 4, so minus negative 4, which is plus 4, over 2 times 1, which is 2. Okay. This is going to be 2 plus or minus root 8 over 2. This is going to be 2 plus or minus, and this root 8 is 2 root 2 over 2. Now you can see hopefully that these are going to cancel out. So we're going to be left with 1 plus or minus root 2. Very, very convenient. 1 plus or minus root 2. So our two possibilities are 1 plus root 2 or 1 minus root 2. Let's go ahead and check these. So we're going to use our calculator. Let's get rid of this. All right, and let's test it out. So we have 1 plus root 2. Now this is going to be squared. So this is my x squared, and then minus 2 times x, which is, again, this 1 plus root 2. So I'm just going to copy that and paste that here. And this is what's inside my absolute value expression. So 1. What's the square root of 1? 1. Does 1 equal 1? Yes, it certainly does. So this one, yes, indeed, it does work. Okay, let's try the other one. So I'm just going to do a shortcut, copy that. It's 1 minus root 2 squared, minus 2 times 1 minus root 2. And what's this equal to? 1. Again, this is what's on the inside of my expression. So is the square root of 1 equal to 1? Yes, it is. So that one's going to work as well. All right, well, that worked out pretty well. Not too bad. Just had to use the quadratic equation. Let's try this one out. So we have negative x squared plus 2x, distributing this negative sign, all right? Don't forget to do that. Equals 1. Let's subtract the 1 from both sides. So we're going to have negative x squared plus 2x minus 1 equals 0. Let's factor out the negative sign. So all of these are going to switch signs. So we're going to have x squared minus 2x plus 1. Now, why would you do that, Mr. Emond, you might ask? It's because I like to have a positive leading coefficient. Because then when I factor it looks like this, which is much easier for me to do in my head. Now, I have a 1, so this could be 1 times 1 or negative 1 times negative 1. And of course, because I want negative 2 there, it's going to be negative 1 times negative 1. So this is x squared minus x minus another x, which is my minus 2x, plus 1 equals 0. And both of these are the same, and they're both going to give me x equals 1. Let's try this out. I don't need my calculator for this one. So we're going to have the absolute value of 1 squared minus 2 times 1 equals 1, which is the absolute value of 1 minus 2. 1 minus 2 is negative 1. Is the absolute value of negative 1 equal to 1? Yeah, for sure. All right, so we have 3 solutions that work here. Let's try this one out. Hopefully we don't have to do a quadratic equation. I always love it when it works out nicely. Okay, 2 cases are going to be x squared minus 7x plus 2 equals 10, and negative x squared minus 7x plus 2 equals 10. This we're going to drop. I'm also going to subtract 10 from both sides right now, just to make it equal to 0. So we're going to have x squared minus 7x plus 2 minus 10. I could have combined them, but I don't want to confuse you guys. Well, you're smart. I probably should have just done it in a step. 2 minus 10 is negative 8 equals 0. Let's factor this. This is quite easily factorable. So this is negative 8 plus 1 will give us that negative 7. So negative 8 and plus 1. So x squared plus x minus 8x gives me that, plus negative 8. All right. So x equals 8 and x equals negative 1. We'll check those in a second. Let's deal with this one. I don't want to do that. I want to factor this in, of course. So negative x squared plus 7x minus 2. Let's subtract the 10 again. Okay, same like we did last time. Minus 10 equals 0. This is minus x squared plus 7x minus 12 this time equals 0. Let's factor out that negative sign. X squared minus 7x plus 12. So they're just reversing their signs, right? And if you distribute this back in, you'll get this. And let's see if this is factorable. 4 and 3, negative 4 and 3. There we go. X squared minus 3x minus 4x gives me this. Plus 12 gives me that. If you're not this quick at factoring, trust me, it just comes with experience, right? The more you do it, the quicker you're going to be at this. So just keep practicing. And of course, this is x equals 4 and x equals 3. All right, let's check our solutions. So we're going to go to our calculator because it's going to be a little bit faster. We're going to do 8 squared minus 7 times 8. I didn't need that. 7 times 8 plus 2. All right, this is what's inside my absolute value expression. What is it? 10. Okay, so here we have the absolute value of 10 equals 10, which yes, of course it does. So that one works. Let's try out our negative 1. This time I'm definitely going to need to use parentheses because I want to make sure it's doing negative 1 squared. And then this, of course, is also negative 1. Let's see what this is equal to, 10. Okay, well, it's the exact same as before, right? 10 equals 10. So this works. Let's try out this one here. So we need this to be 4 and this to be 4. What does it equal? Negative 10. No fear, right? This is what's inside my expression. So I have negative 10 equals 10, which is still true, right? The absolute value of negative 10 is 10, and 10 equals 10. So that does work. Okay, so we can go ahead and box this one. It does work as well. Let's try the last one where x equals 3. And it's the same thing. It's going to work as well. So this one was kind of nice. We had multiple solutions that worked. So for this one on the left, our solution set was 1 plus root 2, 1 minus root 2, and 1. We had 3 solutions. And for this one on the right, our solution set was 8, -1, 4, and 3. So there we go. All right, it's going to be your turn. Go ahead and try these out. Remember, there's 3 ways to solve for quadratic expressions. You can either factor, you can complete the square, or you can use your quadratic equation. Try it out. Make sure you do 2 cases. Make sure you check your solutions. And when you're done, come on back and we will go through the problem with you. See you soon. All right, for those of you on YouTube, welcome back. We have the solution for you. Let's go through it. So we split this first one up into its 2 cases. Step 1. Then you start solving, right? On the one on the left, you're going to look at this and say, I can't factor that. So you would have done either completing the square or the quadratic equation. I did the quadratic equation because that's the one I like. And so when I did the quadratic equation, I ended up with the expression, this is just all simplifying, 3 plus or minus root 17. And so I split it into 3 plus root 17 and 3 minus root 17. Now is the time to plug it back in your equation. So you can see in my calculator here, I'll highlight it for you. Here's the first one. We have 3 plus root 17 squared, right? That's the x here is the 3 plus root 17 squared minus 6 times root 3 plus root 17 again. And that's going to be equal to 8. So we're going to have the absolute value of 8 equals 8, which is true, right? So that first one is correct. The second one highlighted here, you just swap the negative signs, also equals 8. So of course it's true. And these ones I did on the next one, I did it by hand. So here again, this is factorable. First, factor out the negative sign, then it's a lot easier to work with. You should have gotten x equals 4 and x equals 2. When you try them out, this one I did by hand, right? Plugging in 4 and 2, and you get the absolute value of -8 equals 8 for both of them, which of course is true. All right, let's look at the second one. So we have x squared minus 3x equals 2 and negative x squared minus 3x equals 2. Those are the 2 cases. Again, that's not factorable. It's unfortunate, but it's fine. You know, you just throw it into the quadratic equation, simplify it down, and then you get 3 plus root 17 over 2 and 3 minus root 17 over 2. Again, not too bad. Just throw it in your calculator. So here you can see there's 3 plus root 17 over 2 squared minus 3 times 3 plus root 17 over 2. And that equals 2. Is the absolute value of 2 equal to 2? Of course it is. So that is why I didn't box it, but that's why I will box it right now for you. This one is, let's do a little bit of a smaller box than that. This one, of course, it is true. And you can see the other one there, it's also true. So those 2 are solutions. On the right-hand side here, you're going to be factoring, right? First, factor out that negative sign. And then you can factor this down into x equals 2 and x equals 1. These you can check by hand. They're a little bit easier. And you will find absolute value of -2 equals 2. Yes, so that's a solution. And this one, of course, is a solution too. So in this, everything worked out. All my possible solutions happen to be true. That's not always going to be the case. That's going to be it for this lesson. See you in the next one. Thanks for watching, everybody. You can like, follow, and subscribe to my social medias to get notifications as soon as new content is uploaded. In the top corner here, you will find the playlist that this video is in. Watch the unit from beginning to end, and over here, you will find the next video in this unit. Keep learning, everybody. Take care.